Figs here with Team FOE. Just wanted to go ahead and go over my Gotenks deck that I had posted on the DBS group a couple days ago or yesterday. I took it down. People were asking a lot of questions, so I figured I'd make a video, be easier to condense everything, go over a couple of card choices, why I went with certain ratios and things like that. That way, there's a video you guys can reference to, and also be able to see the builds for any other one who hasn't seen it already. So let me go ahead and get into it here. Alright, so of course, like I said, I'm playing the leader Gotenks. If you don't know what he does, his auto when he swings lets you take a life, which is optional, to draw a card. Then once per turn, when your opponent activates one or more, or if your opponent has one or more energy, and they activate an extra card, you get to draw a card. Effects same on the back and front, except on the back, you're able to rest a battle card, and he also gains critical and 5k when you Union Fusion. And he awakens at 4 and untaps 2, which is very important for this deck because energy resources are very, very important. So let's go over the swap engine. I decided to go with this as my swap engine. I know a lot of people had a lot of questions regarding the 3-ofs, and that's one of the biggest things that I focused on when building this deck was making sure that I went with 3-ofs on all of these. Because of course you only need to see one Grandpa Gohan the entire game unless your opponent finds a way to out him. And if they do, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Everything else leading up, only costs 1 additional. And if you're able to find another one, it's pretty easy considering the fact that we're also playing Successor of Hope at 3 as well. So you do have the option to being able to find the rest of the cards that you need for the engine. So 3 Grandpa Gohan is perfect. 4 Goten because you want to see him as often as possible. Swinging and getting the searches off the effect. That way you're able to see a lot of cards, because honestly, having even just 2 of these on board for at least 2 or 3 turns, you're able to find just about everything. Your SCRs, your Bergamos, your super combos, apes, whatever you need to pretty much set up. Even your Height of Mastery package. So 4 was important. I went with 3 because I wasn't trying to go too aggro with the 2-drop. He's an option, of course, for going into this one. And of course, you could play Gohan because he has Barrier, which would be a little bit more safe. But I did still want to do 15k because of Unisons, so that I do have a 1-cost 15k option to be able to deal with Unisons. So I wanted to make sure that I went with Goku because you want to be able to attack Unisons, and you also want to be able to go at leader and other battle cards if need be. Then of course just 3 of him because you only need to see 1, just like the Grandpa Gohan. You only need to see 1. Once you get 1 on the board, he's kind of difficult to out because he does have Barrier, but there are cards that can out him. Otherwise, if they do, you have 2 other copies that you're able to see or find with Successor of Hope. Then of course 3 Height of Mastery because we don't want to max out on too many 10Ks. We also play Unisons, extra cards like Flying Nimbus, as well as Apes, and also the Gotenks package as well. So we didn't want to play too many 10Ks. So that's why I went with the weird split of everything 3 and him 4. It's consistent. I mean, you have the Successor of Hope that lets you find whatever missing pieces you need. You only need 1 of him, 1 of him, 1 of him, and 1 of him for the chain in general. Then of course you see extra copies of him. They're free 1-cost 15k attackers. So I feel like this was a really good ratio. I mean, you can try it yourself, see if you like all of them at 3 and Goten at 2 or 4. Honestly, I wouldn't say I would change it at all because it ideally, like I said, I see everything I need pretty much all the time. As in terms of this package, because again, a lot of it's searchable. So playing 4-ofs kind of contradicts itself when most of it can be searched with this. So that's why I went with those ratios. Then I'll go over the other small package. Well, I mean, there's a bunch of small packages in here, but I went with 3 Bergamo, 2 Basil. Bergamo's in here because, of course, he deals with a lot of other colors in the format at the moment. Also, he's Bergamo. He taps out energy, he taps out battle card attackers. So he's very nice. Basil as well as just an amazing 1-cost battle card. Being able to get 19k and dual attack on the activate main just makes it so much easier for you to be able to apply pressure to the leader, apply pressure to Unisons, especially when your opponent is starting to flood the board. So these go tied pretty well because you're able to tap down cards, and then once they have 5 cards or more in rest mode, you're able to go ahead and give him the dual attack and 19k. So if I was to change anything and I decided to, if you didn't have the funds to play 3 Apes, which is also what I'm playing in here, you could also play the Universe 9 extra card. It essentially does the same thing. It's a 2-cost draw 2, but you're able to bring out Basil. So you can make a small adjustment if you still want to have that draw power, because you are able to pitch the extra cards with Flying Nimbus. You're able to pitch it with the Gogeta Unison. So there, and you can also pitch it with the Gotenks, Gotenks fodder that I'll show you here in a second, the material. So there's definitely options to being able to get rid of extra cards and 10Ks, but apes are apes, and of course they do what they need to do, as vital as they are, with being battle cards and being able to combo with them. But this is the package. This is a nice small package. I wanted to do 4 Bergamo, but there's just not the room, and I'm already at 52 cards. I don't want to squeeze in a 53rd. Plus, you usually only resolve 1, honestly, especially if you're doing your sequencing properly. A lot of times, playing this the turn before you play Height of Mastery is usually pretty detrimental because you're able to tap down most of their energy, if not most of their battle cards, so they're not able to pressure you as much as you'd like them to, or even make a play on your Path of Greatness. So Bergamo is definitely nice to at least see as a one-of, even then. So 3 I think was fine. And of course, Basil's not a necessity, but he's definitely a good card. So if there was any replacement for apes, these 3 apes could easily be replaced with, like I said, Universe 9 Assemble. Just for the draw power, because you'd be able to get a draw 3. You draw 2 off the extra card, and then you draw 1 off the Basil. So that's nice as well. Like I said, I think the 3-2 is perfect. Basil's a really good card, and I think he's worth keeping in here. Now for the Gotenks package, I went with a 2-2-2 split. I think this is perfect because these cards are really good, especially this Union Fusion. When you play him, he negates a battle card and then destroys it if it's in rest mode, which is very important in certain matchups. So Sin Shenron, he's very good. He's very good in a lot of other matchups as well because he has dual attack, double strike, and he allows you to draw. So you don't really go too negative on the play with him. Also, you're able to get rid of dead cards out of your hand with these. So you usually, generally what I do is I pitch them for the Gogeta. And then, if I'm going to combo steps, before I do, I'll go ahead and I'll pitch any extra cards I got in my hand or 10Ks I can't combo with, and I'll pick those bad boys up. Or I'll wait until I can see this and I'm ready to play it. Then I'll go ahead and pick those up and make the play. So that's why I don't play any overwhelming here, is because I am relying on the drop pretty heavily with the sparking on the 3-drop here in order to go to Height of Mastery. You've got apes, and then of course you've got your Trunks and Goten. So this was perfect. Honestly, a 2-2-2 split is very good because once you see this, once you see one copy of each of these, the other ones don't matter. And then of course you just need to see a copy of this. With a lot of the draw that the deck has, it's very hard to not see these copies. I mean, it's not very often I don't. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth playing. I mean, it's nice to have an additional finisher for only 3 because you can't always rely on Height of Mastery. So you want to be able to have something else that you can apply pressure with. Also, with him being 7 and Bergamo being 5, you're able to also go into Cell Xeno, because that's the SCR that I'm playing in here as well. So you do have options. I mean, it gives you more options and ways to be able to pull off and end games and go into different combos. So then of course I'm playing the 4 Zamasu Super Combo, 4 Unison, and then I'm playing the 3 Vegeta. I went with the Zamasu, of course, because we want to tie that in with the Bergamo to tap stuff out. Also, again, we're not hurting the draw, so we don't really need the draw power. I don't think it's as necessary. I mean, if you wanted to play a normal draw super combo, it'd probably be Gohan, just because he's a Saiyan, he's yellow, and I think it's the only super combo that's worth playing in the deck that would allow you to be able to draw and have additional effects. But Zamasu super combo I think is great. There's nothing in here that is multicolor. You don't arrival anything. But again, tapping down energy, being able to play Bergamo allows you to be able to make some pretty good plays. So it is worth having in there. The Gogeta Unison is actually pretty important. He's actually a very good way for us to set up our drop for sparking. So I do like to see him as early as possible. I only went with 3 Vegetas in tie with the Unison because we're looking to usually end the game on turn 4. So that really only gives us 2 turns to set up. I mean, we're on turn 2, we're playing this. Turn 3, we're going into our swap engine, and if we're on Awaken, we'll have some open energy for Bergamo. So there's a lot of different things that you have to consider depending on your lines of play and sequencing. So I did want to go with 3 Vegeta. I didn't want to overload the counterplay since it is only once per turn, and it's the only counterplay that I'm actually playing in the deck. But Gogeta is very good. I mean, if you tap out, you get some added bonuses on defense. He sets up your sparking. He gets these guys to the drop. He gets you apes to the drop. So he does set up the drop for you for sparking, and there's just a lot of cards that it ties in with. So 4 super combo, 4 Gogeta, and 3 Vegeta transformation. I think was very good. A lot of 3-ofs, because a lot of the cards that you see 3-ofs are cards that you want to see, but you don't want to see a lot of. Like this here, I play 3 Apes, 1 Cooler, 1 Cell SCR, and 3 Flying Nimbus. So again, more 3-ofs, 3 Apes, because they are 10Ks, so you don't want to see a lot of them. If you see too many Apes, they clog your hand, and if you don't see a Gogeta, you're forced to charge them anyways. So there's no point in playing additional copies. You do want them, of course, for the unison pressure. You want them for leader pressure. They definitely put in a lot of pressure. They tap down stuff on defense, so they're very important to at least still play, which is why it's still at a 3-of and not any less. Before, I feel like it's just excessive in this deck because, again, if you're not seeing any of your swap stuff, you have other options. You've got your Bergamo, your Basil, you've got your Ape here. You've got your Gotenks package, so there's more reliability on other things than just the swap engine. You want to have options. You don't want to just keep the swap engine because I don't want to say the swap engine's fragile, but against certain matchups, it can be very difficult to go through most of that engine. 1 Cooler, just in case you're on a turn where your opponent's going to try to dormant you and you really want to pressure, you think you can go for game. You want to have this, whether it's Flying Nimbus, Dormant Potential, Protector of the People, whatever counter you can pretty much stop that would allow you to be able to fulfill your turn. You want to be able to get this off, because once you get multiple Gotenks on the board, your opponent's definitely going to try to stop you from attacking multiple times if they're not able to out them. So Cooler allows you to be able to at least stop it. Even if you can't make a play further because you've tapped out with Cooler, you're still going to be able to see many cards off the leader draw, off the Goten draws. So it's nice to at least play that as a 1-of. As I said, I went with the Cell Xeno Unison or SCR because the numbers add up everywhere. I mean, if you look at the deck, Height of Mastery is actually an 8-drop, so an 8 and a 4-drop can easily get you there. We're also playing the 2-drop Goten, so they also get you there with Height of Mastery. The 3-drop Path to Greatness, along with the Gotenks, and then also a Goten. I mean, there's many ways that you can do it. It adds up very well, very easily. And of course, you don't have to play it on 5. I mean, it has built-in quad strike, so a lot of times when you drop Height of Mastery and you've got 2 Gotenks on the board, you're going for game. So it's very easy to pretty much get there. You get 2 dual attack, triple strike, and then you also get your Cell Xeno. So a lot of pressure that you can definitely put down in one turn. So he's worth playing. Flying Nimbus, I wanted to go with more defense, but again, room is very tight in the deck, and Flying Nimbus is just the generic go-to negate. Release from Evil is very good. I do side it when I play this deck in a best of 3, definitely would, or did. But Flying Nimbus is just the better go-to negate at the moment for this kind of build, because Time Magic is kind of weird to play with this deck just because of the fact that the leader awakens, and a lot of times you find yourself at 4 very quickly. So Time Magic is just going to make you more and more vulnerable over turns than Flying Nimbus would. Because most of the time, if you Flying Nimbus and you do happen to tap out, at least Gogeta's on the board, so you'll be at 20 for the turn, and then your opponent has to apply additional pressure or put down additional resources just to get those additional attacks, whether Unison, leader, you're already above, so they have to commit. And that's one of the good things about having the Flying Nimbus tied in with the Gogeta. So I know there's a lot of weird numbers and a lot of explanation, and I try to give as much explanation as I could to others regarding the ratios. But that's a lot of the reasons why I played a lot of the cards that I did. I definitely enjoy the deck as is. I will make changes coming up in the near future for set 11, which I can honestly say I'd probably include Overwhelm, because of course we got that Overwhelm that has double strike crit built in, which makes it very easy to play on the turn you play Height of Mastery since he has no energy cost. So just things to think about. I'm not sure what else I'd put in here. I haven't put much thought because this was actually something that I was just kind of putting together for fun, despite the fact that it's, somewhat of a money deck. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoy the explanations here. Like I said, I try to be a little thorough just so that you guys can understand the reasoning for numbers and the cards that I'm playing. But otherwise, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the deck. And if you have any other questions, feel free to comment down on the video below. But yep, this is Figs with Team FOE. Go ahead and check the video out, like and subscribe to the page. Thanks.